I'm Liz Larson.
And I'm Bill McKenna.
And together, we created the Cognomovement system. And we'd like to welcome you to the New Life Perspectives radio show,
where we're going to be sharing with you tools, tips, and ideas that are going to change your life.
Hello in UK Health Radio Land. I'm Liz Larson, and I'm here with my friend,
Bill McKenna.
Hey, Bill McKenna. And we're the hosts of the New Life Perspectives radio show and the duo that just happened to create the Cognomovement system. And we're really excited to invite our friend Tammy Anderson Ward to the show today. We actually met Tammy through the Utah Energy Healing Conference. I hope I got that right, Tammy. Is that correct?
We do them in other states as well, but yeah, Energy Healing Conference.
Energy Healing Conference. So if you're listening around the world today, these are conferences that are a collection of people that are doing energy healing work, all kinds of very, very interesting modalities. Really dynamic people come to learn about things, hear speakers, lectures, take classes, and also to experience each of these modalities. So let me introduce Tammy just a tiny bit, and then we'll let her kind of break down some of these things I'm about to tell you. So she's the founder and president of Hope Haven Events. So is that the parent company for these events that you host?
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. These are big conferences, you guys, thousands and thousands of people there. She also is a speaker herself and is a healing arts practitioner, certified in many modalities. She's a mentor, an author, and a healing arts advocate. So one of the things that she has listed in her bio here is that Tammy is on the board of the NCCOEP. Let's start there, Tammy. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I love the NCCOEP. They invited me to join last year, and I really love being on the board because what they do is they help further the work and get the research out there and actually help practitioners who say they can do certain things actually show that they can do certain things. And so that way, for me, anyway, it's a really big deal because it helps protect both the consumer and the practitioner if they're certified in this way. I don't know if you've ever had somebody take advantage of you or scam you or anything like that, but I hate how violating that feels. And for me, when I know somebody has this certification, to me, it's like a safety net. Like I know that they can do certain things. Everything that happens there has been vilified and it's got a, you know what I mean? Like you know that it's legit. So I really like that. I really feel like it protects both the consumer and the practitioner in that way. So it's good. It's good stuff. I'm the only one on the board that doesn't have a PhD. When I very first got invited to be on the board, I started crying. I was like bawling my eyes. I'm like, why do you guys have me on this board? And they're like, why are you crying? And I just felt like so, I guess, inadequate or whatever, because they all have all these alphabets behind their name and everything. And they said, you're an energy interpreter. You take some complex concepts and you're able to help convey them in a way that just the general public that doesn't maybe have 1, 2, or 3 PhDs helps them to understand. And I'm like, okay. So I really like it because I also am not afraid to get in front of the camera and talk about things that are really important to me, even though they might be considered controversial or a little bit unorthodox to other people, if that makes sense. So it's good.
It sounds like an amazing group.
Yeah, I'd love to introduce you guys to more of the people. Actually, I think that you guys know some of the people on the board. They were telling me they have a lab in California, and they're like, just so you know, those guys, they pointed to you, those guys are the real deal. And I'm like, oh, I know. We went there. I've been getting work done. They're amazing. And they're like, no, really, we've seen brain scans. I'm like, I felt it myself. I know it's real.
Yeah, she's talking about SciTech Labs in
Mhm.
San Diego, near San Diego, California. Bill and I had the great privilege of meeting up with them, and actually they did our brain scans. So that was
Cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
Let's
very cool.
back up just a little, and we'll bring Bill into the conversation because I know he's dying to chat with you. Well, how did you get into this work? How did you get started in energy healing?
Yeah, so that's a long story, but I'll condense it down so that it's a bite size. My grandmother was a nurse for 40 years. And when she retired, she went more holistic methods. Like when we would get a sore throat as a little kid, if we were around grandma, we got to gargle cayenne pepper in warm water, or we would do like the yoga pose, the lion pose, things like that. And I thought she made that up. I just thought she was so weird. Like, who does that kind of stuff, But it worked. And so then she did reflexology and she started learning about a lot of other stuff. And I think that as a younger child growing up, I was exposed to some, alternative type methods like that. And so it kind of helped my mind to be a little bit more open. Fast forward to 2000, and I believe it was 2012. Was that right? Yeah, I think so. Right around there. I have 8 children, and one of my little kids had a health condition that mainstream just couldn't touch. And so I was really like spending a lot of time in prayer, meditation, trying to figure out what the heck do I do with my kid. They wanted to go in and scrape out his testicle. There you go. I just said it. They wanted to go. And I'm like, that's kind of a big deal. Like, I didn't know that much about anatomy at the time, but that's a big deal. And I just didn't feel right about jumping to that. I wanted to try some methods that were maybe not as invasive, if that makes sense. And I went to an iridologist who referred me to an energy healer. She didn't call herself an energy healer, and I'm so glad, because I like put myself in this little box and I probably wouldn't have gone, but she said, I just help people release emotions. And anyway, I ended up going to her. She lived around the corner from me. Ironically, I live in the sticks, like literally in the middle of nowhere. And she lived around the corner, maybe 5 minutes from me. And in a 1 hour appointment, the first 5 minutes of the appointment, she was able to identify it without me telling her, was able to clear it, then was able to tell me which ancestor, like which generation, what the emotions were. It was so mind-boggling to me. I was like, have you been going through my garbage? Like, how did you know this? Not that it was in my garbage, but I was like, how did you know that? And she's like, well, I'm just talking to your energy, the energy here. What do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like what? Anyway,
So what
long story
happened?
short, what was that?
So what happened?
So I went home, and the problem that my son had been experiencing was gone. And this had been happening on and off for about a year up until that time. And so it really was such a huge deal. And for the next 2 weeks, I just spent so much time studying and researching. Like, I couldn't do anything else, because I was like, what the heck happened? I want to know what freaking just happened, and how can I learn more? I think other parents and other people should know about this. And I went and got certified in several modalities right away. Anyway, the rest is history, as they say, right? Like, I just felt like more people needed to know about it. I put my very first conference together in 2014, and we had 1,400 people, literally from 28 states and 3 countries come. People kept asking me, where did you get your degree? How did you learn to do this? I'm like, I don't have a degree, actually, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just am opening my mouth and sharing. And I didn't know advertising techniques. Like, I literally didn't know how to do any of that. I just was like, more people need to know this. And we've done over 100 large events since that time, in multiple states. We've traveled around. We've been to Arizona 9 times and Idaho many times, mainly the states that are closer around me, because I still have a family. We have 8 children, like I said. And anyway, that's kind of the long version, but I I really just felt an obligation once I learned about it to get the word out. And I'm kind of like that, like in general. If I see a good movie, I tell people about it. If I go to a restaurant and I eat the most decadent, amazing thing, like everyone around me knows about it. You know what I mean? I'm just naturally like that. And so it really isn't any different for me.
So it sounds like it literally is not, it's just your mission that you just are, you just feel this and then you're doing it. It doesn't even probably even feel like it feels like breathing to you. It's so natural for you to get all of this information and help out to the masses.
Actually, that's kind of true. There was a time over the last 9-10 years that I've been doing this, that I had some health things come up for me. And so I was kind of like envisioning not doing conferences and events anymore. And it was like the worst 3 minutes of my life. I was like, I cannot not do this. I love it. It's like breathing, just like you said.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is gotta be such a great feeling to be doing the work that is your purpose. It sounds to me like you've actually found one, if not the, big purpose in your life.
It really feels that way, honestly. And when I actually, like when I wanted to get certified in the very first modality, it was going to be $4,000, and it was over a 9-month period of time. And I mean, I was still like nursing a child and homeschooling all my kids at that time. And I was trying to figure out how to do things, and I wanted a way to pay for it. And so when we did the very first event, it was a mother-daughter event. It sold out in 4 days with 67 people. We rented this huge mansion in Northern Utah and just had the funnest time ever. And I was able to pay for that very first certification. And then we did a mother-son retreat right after. Same kind of thing, 50 people, sold out in 2 days this time. And I said to my daughter, my oldest daughter was 13 at the time. And I said, we need a name for this. This is like a thing. It just flowed like from my heart. You know what I mean? And she's like, I know what we should call it. And I said, what? And the very first thing that she blurted out is the name of my company. She goes, Hope Haven Events.
Wow.
And I said, sounds good. That's what we'll call it.
Oh my gosh. That is so awesome. And how old was she when you asked her this?
She was 13.
13 years old.
Yeah.
Hope
She goes, that's the epitome of you, Mom. Safety, hope, security, helping people to find answers, refuge. I'm like, huh. And this was after 2 simple retreats. Yeah. And now we've been doing all of this. Fun.
I say this all the time, and I really, with my heart, believe it to be true, that during this time of crazy, people are being called to this kind of work. If you have the ability, the aptitude, and the interest to show up and help other people create these kind of changes in your life, then you're needed right now. It couldn't be more important. And I think people are being drawn into the right thing for them. And it sounds like for you, it wasn't just healing modalities, but the ability to share the idea with other people. I have to tell you, I share this with you. My mom was like your grandma. I thought every kid knew about echinacea and arnica. I thought everybody knew the difference between homeopathy and naturopathy, right? I thought everybody knew what a carb was, what foods had fat in it, what foods had sugar, natural or not. I mean, I was literally raised this way, only to find out that most people have no idea. So this work that you're doing, helping people get informed, helping them meet the practitioner that they need to meet in that moment. Clearly, the one you met was the exact right one at that time. Mm-hmm. So it's an incredible, incredible thing. Do you, are there more events this year, or was that the one that we attended, was that the last?
No, we definitely have more events coming. It will be in Pocatello, Idaho, on October 8th. And then on December 3rd, we'll be in Arizona in the Phoenix area. So we will be traveling around and doing more events. We also do other events specifically for people who are interested in learning more healing work. Maybe it's something else that they want to add to their tool belt, or they don't have anything yet, but they're, feeling that call to really help support people. Whatever it is, like, I want to be able to continue gathering people together. So we do mastermind events. Sometimes we'll do business retreats, different things like that. And the thing that probably sets mine apart from others that are out there, because you can find all kinds of retreats out there, nowadays. But the thing that sets mine apart is that they are super affordable. That's always been part of my mission in doing this, is because I don't believe that just one, set of people or set of socioeconomic group of people should have privy to this information. It's always been really, really important to me that this information gets out to everyone. And so as a brand new person coming in, even if they don't have a ton of funds, I really believe that they should be able to find a way to be able to make it happen. Money should never hold people back from their mission. And so I always try to figure out ways to be able to help people get to my retreats and my events. And then if they find somebody like, say, you and Bill, how can we help them to explore different options, to be able to come up with ways to be able to help get them that information and the tools that they need? And I feel like that's probably one of my things I'm most proud of in this work, is a lot of practitioners who would have never been able to work with certain people, they can, you know what I mean? And been able to explore the different options to be able to come up with the that M word, that people don't like to talk about, money. It's like, it's just an energy, guys.
So true. So we need to take a quick break. We have to hear from the UK Health Radio Network right now. So everybody stay with us and we will be right back. So we're back and we're talking with Tammy Anderson Ward. And I love what you're saying, making, healing, energy medicine, the whole concept of healing naturally available to everyone. Bill and I have always shared your mission. We have so much free stuff, so many things that people can do, all the way up to retreats that are a little bit more expensive. But it's valuable to us that people actually get the help that they need and find out about these brand new things. With that in mind, would you guys share how you and Bill met and what that journey was about? Because as healers, we so often have to experience things ourselves, which we do. And then we take what we learn and we spread it around. And I know that's the core of this story. So will you guys share that?
Well, we're gonna tell this in two parts, which I want to tell, if I could, my journey to your door,
Okay.
which I didn't have any plans of going to your event. One of our practitioners in Utah, Coral Simpson, shout out to Coral.
Coral, yay, Coral.
Coral, yay. She's so awesome. So Coral, signs up for this a conference, right? And I had heard about it, and I was like, you know what? I felt literally a pull. I was like, you have to go to this, and by the way, this is a one-day event, and it is I think maybe a 10-hour drive away. And I'm like, you have to go, you have to go. And I kept on getting pulled. I have to be there. And, so this is 20 hours, of driving and, hotels and, all these other things. And so I said, oh, I'm going. And so I went, and I'm walking through, I got there before Coral did, and I'm walking through, I don't really know anybody. and I have our booth. And then all of a sudden, there's Tammy, and Tammy approaches me and just, "Hi, who are you?" And I said, "I'm Bill. I'm Bill." I don't know anybody, matter of fact, I'm not even signed up for it. It's really Coral's deal. And you're like, "Oh, you're like, and what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I help people. We help people with neurologically, with, in emotions, and also if they've had any sort of brain injuries or anything, we can help them to come back to life, to bring them not only physically but emotionally back." And so that was, and by the way, and I remember looking at you, and there was this connection. I was like, and then that's where I'll leave that part of my stuff. That's where I leave off. But so you tell me about your half.
Well, that is awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. And I actually remember the exact moment when I did reach out. I didn't just say, "Who are you?" Like, "Who are you?" I put out my hand in a very friendly manner and said,
She did. It was very friendly. That was, it's true. It was very, very friendly. It wasn't, I always like to make myself up as the victim. So go ahead.
No, that's awesome. But I really I'm a personable, friendly type of person.
Yes.
And at my events, I really do try to connect with people. And when I saw you coming in, I really did want to meet you genuinely. And when I reached out my hand, and you reached out and grabbed my hand, and you looked at me in the eye and you told me what you did, I was like, I have to go to his booth. It was like that seed had been planted, and I knew I needed to get back over there. And unfortunately, a lot of the day went on before I could get over there, because what I was experiencing firsthand was like an echo chamber type of scenario, because the brain injury that I had had the month and a half prior to that was really affecting me. This was the third big conference in April that we had produced. And it was the end of probably one of the longest months in my life. So much so I actually had to go up to my hotel room just to get a break, because I'd never left my own event ever. So that just kind of puts it into perspective, what I was experiencing. So I told my husband, if this was probably about 2:00, I said, I've got to go find this one booth. I got to go find him. I'll be busy for a while and then I'll come back. And when I found you, I believe you were already working with someone. And so I kind of had to troll around a little bit and wait until you were not busy. I came back over and you worked with me, and I could just feel your heart energy so big. And when I sat down and you were able to work with me in just a short amount of time, I was okay again. And I don't know exactly everything that you did. I'm not certified or trained in your work, but I know that I felt the difference. And it was enough so that like the first 2 classes that I spoke, that I taught in that day, I had to do it from my seat. And people who know me know that I don't do that. My energy is very big and I'm all over the place and I'm interacting with people big time, but I had to speak from my chair. After you worked with me, I was able to once again speak standing up. Like, it was that big of a noticeable difference. I knew I had to continue working with you. So we set up an opportunity to meet again. And for the first time since, the big C word that happened back in 2020, I traveled again on a plane. I took my whole family. Well, not my whole family. I took 2 of my kids and my husband, and we went to San Diego just so that I could work with you. That was the primary reason why we went. Now, my boys did learn to surf and we got some good food too. There's some good advantages to going to San Diego area, but the primary reason why I went there was so that I could work with Bill. And it was a huge deal for me. Not being able to drive very much at all. over a 3-month time period after I'd worked with Bill, I was able to then again work on drive on windy roads. I wasn't able to drive on windy roads before because, believe it or not, the roads started to turn like jello and it was very dangerous for me. It did not feel safe, but it was also dangerous because if you feel like you're going to pass out or that you're not steady, that can affect your driving, you know. And living in the sticks, like I said, living in the country, we drive everywhere all the time. I have a very active family that's all over the place. They need rides. It's definitely affected us. So the fact that I can get my life back to a certain degree has just been really, really remarkable. So there's another testimonial you guys can add to your, you know, your repertoire, you know, your portfolio there. But I knew I had to have you back at our big summer conference. And I'm so thankful that you guys were able to come and you've been able to help some of my personal friends and other people who I just had got to meet at the conference. I've been able to see their testimonials, hear about all of the people that you guys have affected. And I've just been so grateful.
Oh, well, you know what? It was such an honor to work with you. I mean, you literally working with you, feeling the change and feeling, you know, seeing you change before my eyes, you know, neurologically and emotionally. There were multiple times when I was literally brought to tears, and it was such a release and a joyful event working with you and seeing it happen. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity that you provided to help you, and your willingness to share that with others. It was awesome. I loved it also that the some of the work, you know, you were in extraordinary physical pain, and then that going away.
Oh yeah. I had huge amounts of pressure behind my left eye, and I was experiencing on and off again migraines. My vision was greatly affected. I've had relief in quite a few different areas. You know, it's interesting because you kind of forget about it, and then you look back. Oh, I had all of that up until the day that I had first worked with Bill.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
There was.
Wow.
I remember you couldn't focus. There was confusion,
Yeah.
a lot of confusion. And a feeling of overwhelm.
Oh, definitely.
And your balance and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. You do forget. That's one of the things about Cogno movement is you forget that you got healed.
Seriously, it's like, what the heck? But that's
Right?
amazing.
Along these lines, if it's okay with you, Tammy, I'd like to break it down just a little, because one of the things we've discovered is that so many people who've had a bump on the head, you know, a car accident, a fall, you know, a pan hits them in the head out of their cupboard, they don't realize that so many of the things they're experiencing go back to that moment. So you talked about not being able to drive because things turned, you know, the road turned into mush, some anxiety and overwhelm and balance. What about the emotional side of it? Was there an emotional component as well?
Yeah, I think safety was a big to do. I just didn't feel safe. And that really affects a person when they don't feel safe, or they can't provide safety for the people that they're supposed to be providing safety for. You know, as a mom of a whole bunch of kids who definitely push that line, 4 of them are boys. They're very, very active. You know, especially with their age and everything. Like I do take that really seriously, and I just, you can't really box people up to try and keep them safe. You still have to be able to live. And I really think that emotional part of what Bill helped me with was tremendous. I mean, and I honestly don't think that I would have been able to get the type of relief that I got had I not actually been working with Bill. I really believe that it's almost like, I mean, I don't want to like say you're a savior or anything, but you kind of saved me. You don't really realize how much it helped me.
Well, in this particular realm, where it comes to brain injury, We, of course, we can't claim that we cure anything, but we do have a particular way that we work with the eyes where concussion becomes really obvious that it's there. And there is a solution for getting the brain working in that area again. And that's really essentially what we do. But I think what really shocked us at your event, I think when we shared this with our audience before that, we worked with 10, maybe 15 people with this same kind of concussion or brain injury who came with so many varied and different symptoms that on the surface you don't think would go back to that. And so what we were so impressed with is that so many of those things cleared up and a person was like, oh my God, I think I can have my life again.
Yeah,
I think I
big of a deal.
Yeah, tell us about that. What is that like to actually feel like, okay, I can move forward?
Yeah, it's huge. It's really huge. I mean, if you can't do what you normally do, it affects every facet, every detail of your life. You know, it affects your relationships and your day-to-day functions, you know, like even being able to, you know, like drive to get your groceries or, you know, in my case, I do there's a lot of moving parts and pieces with the type of work that I do. Anybody who sits in front of a computer, if you've had some type of an injury to your brain, it can be difficult. And for me, I was trying to get my taxes done the week that I first got injured, and it was over the top, like not even really able to do it. My CPA is an empath, thank goodness. And he's like, I'll get you an extension, we'll be fine. And he gave me an extra week and I was able to get that done. But just like to be able to get your life back, just to be able to function again, it is a huge game changer. You know, you can actually like work or go get your groceries. My husband was so kind and took me to quite a few different brain clinics throughout Utah. And I would like to say something about that because I found, unfortunately, a lack of compassion from some of those professionals. And I found compassion when I worked with you guys. I never, ever wondered if you cared about me.
I think we've heard this across the board. The people are just not finding the relief that they need. Yeah. And walking into anywhere where you're vulnerable, you're hurt, your life is hurting, and not feeling cared about really is unacceptable. And I think it's something that we have to change. We have to stand up and say, we're not willing to accept that. And I think people coming to more natural practitioners, energy healing practitioners, people like us who have a different kind of technology, I think that's why people are flooding in that direction, is they're just not finding the answer and the care and the concern that they need.
Or just general compassion. Like, honestly, when the one office called me back, they said, why aren't you going to do the treatments? You know, it will work. And I said, can I be frank? And they said, well, absolutely. And I said, I just didn't feel any sort of compassion or empathy at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to work with somebody like that. And then shortly after is when I started working with Bill. And it is completely a game changer when you work with not just someone who's really effective, but somebody who actually cares about you. So I've just been so grateful for you guys.
Oh, well, you know, I don't know. It just seems so foreign to me how, although I have been in your shoes and experienced that kind of that hardened sense of a professional that somehow gets hardened to their heart gets hardened, you know, and on the other side of it, it's so very easy to have a love and a compassion for Tammy that both of us feel for you and your circumstance.
I think there's another issue also. Bill and I are such nerds about our work. We just geek out about it, and we are so interested in each and every person that not only comes through us, but comes through our practitioners or people who do the work on their own.
I feel that.
We're just nerds about it because we know that some amazing things can happen. And we feel like in this time period, especially, it's available. It is available for things to heal that just didn't before. All right, you guys, we're having so much fun. We ran over our time for our break with the UK Health Radio Network. So we'll hear from them and we'll be right back with Tammy. All right. Thank you, UK Health Radio Network. All right. And we're back. So Tammy, you've shared with us that it's really important to you that not only that people have access to natural energy medicine, work like ours, but you're actually helping people who are doing it. So with business mentoring, helping them know how to advertise. Would you share a little bit about that with everyone? Why is that important to you?
Oh my gosh, it's so important to me for a couple of different reasons. I talked to you about how the affordability part of learning how to, help yourself, is really important to me, but also for people who are really stepping into an entrepreneurial role where they are helping others. I really would love to assist people who really care about people and want to make their dreams come true at the same time. When I very first started my business, I was pregnant with my 8th baby. This is insane, I know, to think about this. But really, I started because I was telling my kids, you could have anything that you want in this life. And my oldest daughter, who I told you she was 13 at the time I started, she literally was like, I'm calling your bluff. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, look at you. You're not doing anything. You're sitting on the couch. You're not going after your dreams. And you know what? She was right. I wasn't doing what I really felt like I was being called to do. And so when we actually did start doing my business, I really lacked a lot of skills and tools to really be able to move forward with a very positive momentum. As a result, I ended up hiring quite a few mentors that trained me and helped assist me. But it came with such a huge price tag that one of the things I vowed to do for myself was to make it be really affordable for people. So my mentoring is ridiculously low, but it still has the high quality touch and information that entrepreneurs really need. And because I work with people internationally, really people are people. So it doesn't matter where they're from or their background. I want to help people who are really going after their goals. I've worked with people like Bob Proctor, who you guys remember the cool old dude from The Secret. I say that very affectionately. I really love him so much. Even though he's from Toronto, we actually traveled to LA for quite a few years. And we were always, my husband and I, on the front rows, just soaking up every single thing that he was giving us. We were just so excited. We just couldn't wait we were on the edge of our seat waiting to see what else he had for us. And he really helped us to be able to go after our goals and helped us to achieve that. So now we take that information and we have our Tammy twist on it, our Tammy touches or whatever you want to call it. And we put it right on that. And I'm grateful that I've been able to help people in that way. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing to want to help people. And it's amazing to go through training and get certified. But then you have to start a business. You kind of have to hang a shingle to be able to do it full time, unless you're independently wealthy. And starting a business creates a lot of fear for people.
I had excitement. There was some fear too, for sure, but I was excited. I couldn't wait to find out what worked. Have you ever heard of strengthsfindertest.com? Have you ever heard of that? I did that. And one of my top strengths is strategy. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I can actually do what I do really effectively right from the beginning, without a degree or whatever. Because I love watching people and I love the strategy part of it, but it's also my goal is to help people. So it is a win-win-win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's so much confusion about business. I've been a serial entrepreneur since I think I was 14.
Oh my
it was
God.
the first little business I had.
So fun.
But for most people, the idea of asking for money in exchange for what you do can be
Mhm.
really terrifying. So it's amazing that you're helping people do this, because unless they can do this, they can't get it out there in the world. So in my opinion, it's equally as important as the modality, being able to actually create
Thank
a
you.
life for yourself. Yeah,
I
it's huge.
really feel that. And also because a lot of people who are naturally very intuitive and naturally wanting to help people and be healers, you know, in their own right, or they're with their own modality, those type of people, it doesn't naturally always come to them
Right.
on how to run a business. And so in order to be able to learn those really key marketing and mindset and management skills of a business, it's huge. It's so imperative. And I have, you know, I've like literally thrown away tens of thousands of dollars, no joke, on just stupid mistakes that if I would have known that, to not do XYZ or whatever, it would have just saved me so much heartache. So I really try to help people learn from, I guess, my mistakes and like how to move forward. And, you know, don't be afraid to hire someone, but make sure you do your research, you know, go read their reviews, go talk to some people who've worked with them. If you're going to write somebody a check for $30,000, you better know exactly what you're getting. Don't just assume or take their word for it in a verbal way. You know, I learned that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. There's so much out there. The coaching world has exploded.
Mhm.
And you've got lots of people doing coaching who really aren't doing the business even themselves. It's a big question, you know, what have you experienced? So I'm really glad that you're on the front lines of this for people doing this loving service kind of work. It's really important. So that's amazing.
Thank you so
So
much.
we're getting close to the end of the show. And I know you have something to give the audience, something that they can take home today and use to make your life better.
Well, I am really, first of all, thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share something that has been a tool that I've used every day for the last, I think, 13 years now. It's been very, very instrumental in not just my business aspect of it, but also my health. And in all of these different aspects, it's something that I can teach you literally in 5 minutes on how to get started in doing it. But the key I want to really kind of hit home for you here is the consistency. The consistency is very, very important. And I actually believe that I attracted you guys into my life because of this tool. So let me just kind of put it in a nutshell how to do this. Most people nowadays have a phone that has a voice memo or voice recording tool or app on their phone. And most of the time you can get it for free. It doesn't matter if you have Android or Apple. I mean, you know, you can just pull it up. And then I'm going to teach you 3 basic steps on how to do this. The reason why I want you to do a voice recording to yourself about yourself is because the most powerful voice in the entire universe to you is your own. It matches the exact frequency, the exact resonance as your subconscious voice. So if you keep telling yourself, you know, that, oh, I messed up, you know, I said when I was speaking, that was a big one for me. I used to cry. The first time I ever did a recording, I recorded it 75 times. And I cried and I cried. I actually made myself sick over it. And I finally just went, I'm just going to be me. You know what I mean? There was another time where I was bedridden for about 7 months. I had an autoimmune disorder and I couldn't get out of bed. And I started recording to myself, I am healthy. I am strong. And starting to tell myself, and the first time I recorded it, I deleted it and I said, well, that was dumb. That was a lie. I'm not healthy. I'm having a really hard time, you know? And instead of me believing and telling myself these things, oh, you're dumb, you sound stupid, or you're so weak and so tired and in so much pain, and you just keep repeating that over and over, your cells, your tissues, your organs, the energy in you and around you is listening. You're commanding those very molecules. So if you don't want it to be a certain way, use a voice recording. So here's those 3 steps. first person. You're going to write it out what you want in first person, present tense. Don't say I will feel healthy or I will attract $1 million or whatever you want. Say I am attracting. I am receiving. You're going to be saying it in first person, present tense. And then the last step that is hugely important, in fact, I call it my secret sauce, is to add enthusiasm. More enthusiasm than you have used in a very long time. So much so that your subconscious, your psyche is like, what the hell just happened? What the heck just happened? Like, what is this? What is this energy? What is this vitality? This new awareness, this excitement and enthusiasm. You're just like, woo! And make some sound effects in your recording. I know it sounds stupid, but it freaking works. You know what I mean? So you're excited about your life, and your subconscious is like, wait a minute, for the last 90 days, I've been saying I'm, sick, broke, bad relationship, whatever. Quit telling yourself those things. Instead, start saying what you want. And literally it starts to change things in you and around you. So was that about 7 minutes? Are we good?
Yeah, that was fantastic. And it's so true. I always say that you are the voice of God for your cells. Your cells don't know any different. You're the voice of God, just like we feel like we hear the voice of God. So you want to tell those cells the most loving thing that you want them to know. You want to be a loving God within inside your own body. That's the way I always put it. So it's fantastic advice.
Thank you. Yeah. And then listen to it. Listen to it every day.
That is wonderful, Tammy. I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so honored to share that with you. It's been something that even my little kids can do. From the time that my 7-year-old Amanda could even go out of her mouth, she was recording things. Her brother Caden would say, I am awesome. And she'd go, I am smart. And she's got it on my phone. Literally, I have a recording. I'll have to send it to you, Bill. It's hilarious. But when you listen to your voice, even if it's just a little voice of agreement, I really feel like it makes a difference. So anyway, it works for everything. It works for business and health and all kinds of stuff. I want to encourage everybody to give it a try.
Yeah, fantastic. So if you guys try it out there and it works for you, gotta let us know. Give us some feedback. Give Tammy some feedback on some miracles that happen because of it. So we're here at the end of our show. It's happened so quickly. I can't believe it. Would you remind everybody where to find you, Tammy, and what's coming up next?
Awesome. Well, we always have events in the works. So whether you want to join in virtually or live, doesn't matter. Go ahead and see what we've got. There's mentoring things that are on our website also. So if you're interested in working with me business-wise, if you're looking for practitioners of certain varieties, if you are wanting to be able to subscribe to even our audio library, you can find all of that on our website, which is energyhealingconference.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. It's just Energy Healing Conference. Do a quick search for us and you'll find us. We have about 31,000 strong there right now. Very engaging audience, people from all over the world. And we are looking to attract high vibration people. So please join us there. You can also find us on Instagram at Energy Heal and then CONF. And I look forward to seeing you guys at either virtually or live at an upcoming event.
And these are high vibe events. We've been to a lot of these kind of things, and sometimes you go in and it feels funky. The last event Bill and I went to, they feel great. The people, the vendors that are there are great. We made a lot of friends. It was a lot of fun. So I really encourage people to take a look wherever you are in the world, make a vacation of it and fly in. They're amazing. And you can get a lot of healing, meet a lot of people that are like-minded. So thanks so much for being here with us, Tammy. We really appreciate it. You have any last thoughts, Bill, before we head out for the day?
We love you, Tammy.
Oh, and I also would like to say I love you guys. So thank you.
Okay, UK Health Radio Land, we will see you guys all again for an exciting episode next week. Big love to all and see you soon. Bye.
again.
Yeah, yeah. We look forward to working and seeing you again real soon.
Thanks for being here with us on the New Life Perspective radio show. For more information or to find out more about the work that Bill and I do, please visit us at cognomovement.com or email us at info@cognomovement.com. See you again soon.